Hi guys, it's really nice to see you, or to imagine that I'm seeing you a little bit. I hope everything's going well. I know that this is all very crazy and potentially very stressful depending on your own situation. So just know that I'm thinking about you guys every day, and I'm really hoping that things are as smooth as can possibly be. As always, get in touch if you have any questions or if you need an advocate in any way with any of your other classes, okay? A couple of things before we get into the details for the week. Normally, if we were in a classroom right about now, we'd move to some test prep, but just a little bit every day because I see you every day. One of the things that's going to be really different about going online is that I'm going to split us up into a group for students who are taking the AP exam and the students who are not taking the AP exam. So you'll see as I go today that there's instructions for both groups of students. If you're taking the exam, don't panic. Take heart. It's a smaller exam. You actually get to focus a little. It's not going to take as long. So I think you should see it as a great opportunity to let your skills shine and to not have this huge test over 3 hours that you're walking into, okay? Regarding the test, we don't yet have details on how to handle potential cancellations. So as soon as I know that, I will pass it on to you, okay? But please don't panic. You guys have worked really hard, and if you still want to take that test, you should take it, and you should kick its butt, okay? All right, so let's jump in. I'm going to start in Google Classroom. This is where you're going to start as well. And you will see that I've already posted a number of items. And we've got really 3 things that should catch your attention. We have our distance learning schedule. And you can also see that I've already posted assignment number 1 and assignment number 2. One of the things that I want to bring your attention to, because I think it'll make your life a lot easier, is if you go to classwork, the tab at the top, you'll see that I added a new topic, distance learning. I will add new sections for each week so that, for example, when you click in here, it's going to have everything for the week of April 20th. This is going to help you find what you need a lot easier. If you get behind, it'll help you catch up. And occasionally you'll be able to work ahead if you would like. And this will allow you to do so and have a sense of what is due each week. So I recommend that you tackle Google Classroom by going into the classwork section and choosing the week that we're on. So we're on April 20th. You will always see in the week this distance learning schedule. So let's click on that and see what it looks like. Okay, so at the top, I just am reminding you of our schedule, that everything's posted by 9 a.m. on Mondays, and you have a chance to turn things in until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesdays. I also wanted to remind you that I will be pretty much on instant email access Mondays between 9 and 1. And then Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. There will also be a post on Google Classroom that will come up on Mondays, and it's just going to say, hey, if you have questions, post them here, and I'll answer there. And that way some folks can check that before they email me in case the question has already been answered. If you need to chat with me, a real live person, we can do that. Definitely. Send me an email. Let me know what times are good for you, and we will go from there, okay? Don't feel like you cannot do that. We absolutely can do that. It's not a problem. All right, in yellow down here, you will see my note about how the class has been split up into 2 groups. So please only do what is for you. Don't do both, okay? All right, so here's how our schedule works. you'll see that on the left is the date or the week. Then I've given you a little bit of a sense of what we're focusing on, just so you can have your brain around the big picture. In this column, you're going to find all the materials that you need for each assignment. Typically, they're going to be hyperlinked. Occasionally, it will say to look at the specific assignment title in Google Classroom. And then in the last column, I've given you information about what is due when and where. Okay? So, let's take a look, for example, at what you're up to this week. Everyone is doing the same task this week. Our focus is rhetorical analysis. We did that in quarter one. I know we do it often, but we really study that in quarter one. So we're going back. We're going to take a look at what is it, what do I do, what are my strengths and weaknesses, and what's a strong rhetorical analysis. Okay? So everyone is going to start with assignment number 1. And you'll see that it is linked over here for you. So you can click in this document, and it's going to take you directly to assignment number 1. Okay, so the focus of assignment number 1 is to create a concise set of notes for you to use during the remainder of our time together. This is super key for people who are taking the exam, but you non-exam people, you're going to need it too. Okay? So, step 1, I have provided a review of analysis, and it's narrated, but it's essentially a PowerPoint, and it's the PowerPoint we used. So it's a lot of review. You're going to listen and follow along, and then you will fill out the guided notes at the bottom. You'll answer these types of questions as you go. Now, if you want to do this on hard copy, write by hand, that's fine. You can take a picture and submit. You can also make a copy of this Google Doc and submit it on Google Classroom. Okay, so step 1 is that you will follow along with the review and answer the guided questions. Now, step 2 is where you take your brain and you say, all right, what do I really know? What do I know well? What do I need review on? What do I know by heart? And Dr. Ray never needs to tell me it again. Okay? So you're going to take all the material we just reviewed. You're going to take all your notes. You're going to take that PowerPoint. And you're going to take one regular sized piece of paper. And you're going to put on that piece of paper, one side only, the notes that you personally need now that we've gone through this review. Okay? So, you are rewriting and redesigning the notes in a way that works for your brain, but covers the key content. Okay? You can leave off things that you know by heart and expand on anything that you need a little more detail for. For instance, you could add more verbs, you could add more samples. I made a visual for you to give you a sense of what you're going for here. And it's linked in the assignment. Let's look. Are we going? Not my child's visual. Okay, here we go. Alright. So, here's how my brain works, right? I needed a little bit of reminder about what I'm doing with analysis over here on the top right. But I'm a big like do this, don't do this kind of person. So on the left, I put some reminders about what I don't want to do. So you can see here how this really condenses everything that's in the PowerPoint, but it leaves off some material and it expands on some material. You can see that on the left, I decided I need to remember what verbs to use and when do I use them. I also reminded myself, oh, what can I analyze? I can analyze all of these kinds of things. And then you'll see under the body paragraphs that I actually did a brief outline of what the body paragraph would contain. It would have a topic, the textual evidence, and then it would have lots of commentary. Okay? One page made for me, made how my brain works, and pretty simple, a little bit of color coding just to grab my attention and visually organize it. That's it. Okay? So this is step 2. So let's go back then to assignment number 1. You've got 2 steps. You are listening along with our review, and you'll find the review linked right at the bottom here. And you're answering these guided questions. And then step 2 is to condense your review into a 1-page tip sheet just for you. Okay? So if we go back to our distance learning schedule, you will see that both the guided notes review and the tip sheet get turned into Google Classroom. And indeed, if I go over to Google Classroom, you will see that that's under assignment number 1. And all this material is duplicated right there on the assignment sheet for you in Google Classroom. Okay? Assignment number 2 for this week is to remind ourselves of what a good rhetorical analysis looks like. So for assignment number 2, you will read a sample prompt and a sample paper. You'll score it just like we do in class. The only difference is I've asked for a 2 to 3 sentence justification this time instead of just a 1 sentence. You'll find the material for assignment number 2 right underneath. Here's the prompt. And we've got 1 sample paper. And just in case you need the rubrics again, here they are. Just don't forget, we're doing analysis, so you want to make sure that you choose the analysis rubric, which is on the 2nd page. Okay? So when you score, do it on a Google document or do it on a hard copy. But either way, you turn in the scores for sample analysis essay on Google Classroom. And indeed, if we go over to Google Classroom, you will see assignment number 2. And you will see that here's the prompts for you. I'll go ahead and add the rubric in just a minute. Okay? So, this document, this distance learning schedule, this really contains everything you need. It's going to keep you really organized. Where do you find it? You find it on Google Classroom. I will post it again every Monday, so you could see it right in the stream. Or you can go to Classwork. You can choose our distance learning week, and it will also be posted right in there. Okay? Alright, I think that's everything I want to show you just in terms of how this is going to work. Don't be shy about asking questions, but please make sure that you're reading carefully before you ask me questions, okay? We have to strike a fine line between me being available for all your questions and you taking responsibility for actually reading what I provide you, okay? So that's it, alright? So this is your video to let you know how we're going to do things. And when you jump into assignment number 1, you will get to start in step 1 and move to step 2, and then move to assignment number 2. Okay?